Okay, this is 6.2 Advanced Algebra Trig, talking about the base e, this funny number e. So I have a warm-up question, two warm-up questions for you on the left-hand side. Number one is, what is an irrational number? So if you don't know what that is, go ahead and take some time and look up in your book what an irrational number is, or look it up on the web. And then the second question I have for you is, can you name at least one famous irrational number? And I gave you a hint. Think of March 14th. So I'm going to pause the video. You guys go ahead and try and think of those two things. And okay, did you figure out what an irrational number is? If not, look it up. Important. And hopefully everybody got this one. The famous irrational number is pi. Of course, there's another one, square root of 2, the golden ratio, and the one that we're going to talk about today, which is e. So there's at least one right there. So pi was the one I was thinking everybody would get, and you probably did. Okay, going over here. The first box, the number e is defined like this. It is 1 plus 1 over n to the n as n gets really, really big. Okay, it's called the Euler's number. It's another name for it because this old dude a long time ago figured it out. A couple things you want to know about this is that the bigger that n gets, so this exponent, the bigger that n gets, the closer 1 plus 1 over n to the n gets to about 2.718. And I'm going to show you where that button is on your calculator right now. So if you need your calculator, go ahead and grab it. I'll set mine up right here. All right, put that back down there. So here's the calculator. I'll turn my calculator on. And the E button is like, see where the number 4 is? If you look to the left of number 4, there's the LN. And then, of course, above that in yellow is like the E. So if you push second and then LN, you get E. So if I just go E to the first power, notice I get about 2.71828, blah, 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 all the way out there. So that's where it is on your calculator. So we might need that later, okay? A couple other things to note here. E is an irrational number, which means that it cannot be written as a simple fraction. Its decimals don't terminate and they don't repeat. So that's basically the definition of an irrational number, if you didn't get a chance to look it up earlier. E occurs in a lot of places, such as finding finances for continually compounded interest. So watch out, that's some scary stuff there. So a little question on the side for you is, where does E show up? And then number 2, I just want to show you the basic graph of e to the x. So the graph of f of x equals e to the x. So because e is about 2.71, it falls right between 1 and 2. So we've been studying functions that look like this, right? F of x equals a to the x, where a is bigger than 1. Well, in this case, our a is just 2.71, so it's going to look exactly like the other graphs, except the points I'm going to work with are over here. So 0, 1. That's still the guaranteed point. You still have that one. And you have 1, base. And the base is just 2.718, or e. So over here on my graph, I have 0, 1. And I have 1, e. And that's the graph of e to the x. So e to the x is a function, passes the vertical line test. It's 1-to-1 on its range and domain. So that means it has an inverse, and we start talking about logarithms when we get into that. Okay, so on the calculator, if you wanted to graph this function, okay, turn your calculator on, go to y equals, hit second e, and then to the x power. So second e to the x, just like that in parentheses. I'm going to zoom 6 to make sure we're looking at the same thing. And there we go. So if I was going to change my window to make it match my graph, I would probably go -3 in the x direction, +4 in the x direction, scale 1. Probably 0. It looks like I go up to about 5. So if I hit graph there we go. So that graph looks pretty much just like my graph right there. And then all the same rules apply for transformations, and use the handout for that one. All right, you guys, that should get you through everything you need. Have a good weekend.